Right now, there's a voice inside your head, a voice that's been with you for as long as you can remember, and most of the time, you trust it. You trust its opinions, its explanations, its conclusions. You assume that voice is you. But what if it isn't? What if some of the most important decisions you've ever made didn't actually begin with you? What if the life you're building right now is being guided by rules you never consciously chose? Rules that quietly shaped what you believe, what you fear, what you admire, what you chase, and even who you've become. The unsettling part is that most people never notice these rules. Not when they're young, not when they're making choices, not even when those choices begin shaping their future. They notice much later, years later, sometimes decades later, when they suddenly realize they've been following a script they never remember agreeing to, and by then, a large part of their life has already been spent. So before we continue, consider a possibility most people never stop to examine. What if some of the things you call your decisions were never truly yours at all? Most people believe they're building their own life, making their own choices, following their own path. But look closer, much closer, and you'll notice something strange. Many of the things you want today were planted long before you ever questioned them. Think about success. What does that word mean to you? Take a second. Where did the answer come from? Did you create it, or did someone hand it to you? Because nobody sits down with a child and says, "Decide for yourself what a meaningful life looks like." Instead, the definition arrives already prepared. Good grades, a respectable career, a stable income, a comfortable future. Follow the path, stay disciplined, work hard, and eventually you'll be happy. That's the promise. At least, that's the story. And maybe you believed it. Most people do. Maybe you studied hard. Maybe you sacrificed. Maybe you spent years doing everything right, everything expected, everything rewarded. Yet every now and then, usually in a quiet moment, a question appears. A question that feels strangely uncomfortable. Not because it's difficult, because it's dangerous. The question is, what am I actually doing all of this for? Not how, not when, not what's next. Why? Why this path? Why these goals? Why this version of success? And for a brief moment, the script begins to crack. You feel it. The uncertainty, the doubt, the possibility that you've been moving for years without ever asking where you're going. But then something happens. Life gets loud again. Emails, responsibilities, deadlines, notifications. The question disappears, and you keep moving, just like everyone else, because movement feels normal. Questioning feels risky, and that's exactly how invisible rules survive. They don't feel like rules. They feel like reality. They're repeated so often, you stop seeing them. They become the background, the default setting, the unquestioned truth. And the most powerful invisible rules are the ones before success, before status, before achievement. There was something else, something older, something far more powerful, the need to belong. For most of human history, survival depended on other people. Being accepted meant safety. Being rejected meant danger. Your brain still carries that memory, even now, even in a world that looks completely different. That's why approval feels good, and rejection can feel surprisingly painful, even when it comes from strangers, even when it shouldn't matter, because deep down, a part of you is still asking the same question. Do I belong here? Do these people accept me? Am I safe? And without realizing it, that question begins shaping your life more than you think. Think about the times you stayed quiet, not because you had nothing to say, because saying it felt risky. Think about the opinions you softened, the dreams you hid, the parts of yourself you kept hidden from view, not because they were wrong, because they might not be accepted. So you adapt, a little at first, almost invisibly. You learn which behaviors earn approval, which opinions get rewarded, which versions of yourself make people comfortable, and slowly, You begin editing who you are, one small adjustment at a time. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just tiny compromises, tiny changes, tiny acts of self-abandonment, until one day, the edited version becomes normal, and the original version starts to fade. The frightening part is that this process rarely feels forced. It feels voluntary, it feels reasonable, it feels smart. After all, everyone wants to fit in, everyone wants connection, everyone wants to be liked. But every time you trade authenticity for approval, you pay a price that's easy to ignore. Until years later, when you look at your life and feel strangely disconnected from it, as if you've been playing a role for so long, you've forgotten where the performance began. And maybe that's why so many people feel lost, not because they don't know who they are, because they've spent years becoming someone else. The version that earned applause, the version that avoided criticism, the version that made everyone comfortable. Everyone, except themselves. And here's the question most people never ask. If nobody could judge you, who would you become? If nobody could reject you, what would you say? If nobody expected anything from you, what would you choose? Sit with that for a moment, because your answers might reveal a gap between the life you're living and the life you actually want. And that gap is often created by invisible rules you absorbed without noticing, rules that taught you who to be, what to say, what to hide, what to pursue. But the next rule goes even deeper, because it doesn't just influence who you become, it influences what you spend your life chasing. And that's where the real trap begins. Look around. Almost everyone is running towards something, or running away from something. More money, more recognition, more influence, more proof that they're succeeding. And from a distance, it all seems perfectly reasonable, because that's what success is supposed to look like. At least, that's what we're told. Work harder, achieve more, keep climbing, keep pushing, keep going, and eventually, you'll arrive. But arrive where? That's the question most people never stop to ask, because they're too busy moving, too busy comparing, too busy chasing the next milestone, the next promotion, the next achievement, the next version of themselves. And so, the race continues, year after year, without pause, without reflection, without ever asking, who designed the finish line? Because here's something strange. Many people eventually get what they wanted: the money, the title, the recognition, the validation. And for a brief moment, it feels incredible, a rush of excitement, a sense of victory, a feeling that all the effort was worth it. Then something unexpected happens. The feeling fades, much faster than they imagined, and suddenly, they need another goal, another milestone, another achievement, another reason to feel complete. The cycle starts again, and again, and again. Why? Because many of the goals we chase were never truly ours. They were borrowed from family, borrowed from culture, borrowed from social expectations, borrowed from people who never had to live our lives. And yet, we spend years pursuing them, sometimes decades, without ever questioning where they came from. Think about that. How much of your ambition is genuinely yours? How much of it was inherited? How much of what you want was taught to you? Because if a desire is repeated often enough, it eventually starts to feel like your own, even when it isn't. And that's where the trap becomes dangerous. You can dedicate years of your life to winning a game you never consciously chose to play. You can sacrifice your time, your energy, your relationships, your peace of mind, all in pursuit of something that doesn't actually matter to you. And the tragedy isn't that you fail, the tragedy is that you succeed. Because failure forces reflection. Success often doesn't. Success can keep the illusion alive. It can convince you that you're on the right path, simply because you're making progress. But progress means nothing if you're moving in the wrong direction. Imagine spending 10 years climbing a ladder, working harder than everyone around you, giving everything you have, only to reach the top and realize something devastating. The ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. The years were real. The sacrifices were real. The effort was real. But the destination was never yours. And by the time you see it, those years don't come back. That's why this invisible rule is so powerful, because it doesn't feel like a prison. It feels like ambition. It feels like discipline. It feels like success. And that's exactly. Most people think the greatest danger in life is making the wrong decision, choosing the wrong career, marrying the wrong person, taking the wrong path. But that's not the real danger. The real danger is never stopping long enough to question the path you're already on, because there's an invisible rule that governs modern life. A rule so common, it feels completely normal. Stay busy, keep moving, stay occupied, stay distracted, always have something to do, always have somewhere to be, always have another goal waiting ahead. And if you do that long enough, something strange begins to happen. You stop asking questions, not because you've found the answers, because you've lost the silence required to hear them. Think about it. When was the last time you sat alone, with no music, no notifications, no distractions, no task to complete, just you and your thoughts? For many people, that moment never comes. And maybe that's not an accident, because stillness can be uncomfortable. Stillness reveals things that busyness keeps hidden, questions you've been avoiding, doubts you've been suppressing, truths you've been postponing. As long as you're moving, you don't have to face them. As long as you're distracted, you don't have to listen. As long as you're busy, you don't have to wonder whether the life you're building is actually the life you want. So, the cycle continues. 1 year becomes 2, 2 becomes 5, 5 becomes 10, and gradually, the days start blending together. Not because life is meaningless, because it has become automatic. Wake up, work, consume, sleep, repeat, again, and again, and again, until one day, something breaks the pattern. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's a loss, maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a moment of unexpected honesty, and suddenly, a thought appears, a thought that has been waiting for years. You look at your life, and you ask yourself, how did I get here? Not physically, existentially. How did I become this person? How did I end up living this life? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, would I choose it again? Take a moment with that. Would you choose it again? The same goals, the same habits, the same priorities, the same direction. Knowing everything you know now, would you willingly start over on the exact same path? Most people never ask that question because they're afraid of the answer, not because the answer might be painful, because it might be true, and truth has a way of changing everything. Imagine waking up tomorrow with complete freedom. Nobody can judge you. Nobody can disappoint you. Nobody expects anything from you. No audience, no pressure, no script. What changes? What disappears immediately? What remains? The truth is, you will never be completely free from influence. No one is. Every human being is shaped by something, by family, by culture, by experience, by fear, by desire, by the people around them. That's not the problem. The problem isn't influence. The problem is unconscious influence, the beliefs you never examine, the assumptions you never question, the rules you never realize you're following, because what remains invisible controls you. What becomes visible becomes a choice, and that changes everything. The moment you see a rule, you can question it. The moment you question it, you create distance from it, and in that distance, something powerful appears. Choice, real choice, perhaps for the first time. Not the choice between two options, not the choice between one career or another, a deeper choice, the choice to decide which beliefs deserve authority over your life and which ones do not, because most people spend years asking, what do I want? But maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the better question is, who taught me to want this? Think about that. Who taught you what success looks like? Who taught you what failure means? Who taught you what makes a person valuable? Who taught you what kind of life is worth living? And if those ideas were taught, they can also be reconsidered. Not all inherited beliefs are bad. Some deserve to stay. Some contain wisdom. Some help us grow. But others have simply been occupying space, taking control, making decisions on your behalf for years, maybe even decades, without permission, without awareness, without question, until now, because awareness changes the relationship. Once you see the pattern, you cannot completely unsee it. Once you recognize the script, you stop confusing it with reality, and slowly, you begin reclaiming authorship of your life. Not all at once, not overnight. One decision at a time, one belief at a time, one question at a time. You stop living automatically. You stop reacting unconsciously. You stop following every inherited rule as if it were truth, and instead, you begin choosing, deliberately, carefully, consciously, because the invisible rules were never hidden somewhere out in the world. They were hidden here, inside your assumptions, inside your habits, inside your fears, inside your ambitions, inside the story you've been telling yourself for years. And once you finally see them, you gain something many people never do: the opportunity to decide which rules belong in your future and which ones never belong to you at all. Tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself one question, just one. Which parts of my life did I consciously choose, and which parts were chosen for me? Don't answer too quickly. Sit with it. Let the question stay with you, because most people will spend their entire lives following invisible rules they never stop to examine. Not because they're weak, not because they're incapable, but because they never learn to look. And sometimes, a single question can change the direction of an entire life. If this video made you think differently, subscribe, because the most important discoveries aren't always found in the world around you. Sometimes, they're hidden inside the assumptions you've carried all along.